Hey everyone, I'm your astrologer Brittany of Ethereal Astrology, helping you to see the larger story of your life with horoscopes that emphasize the cycles of the moon and slower moving planets. Today, you're watching the horoscope for the new moon in the sign of Gemini, which occurs on Thursday, June 6th, 2024 at 8:37 a.m. Eastern Time or 5:37 a.m. Pacific Time. Now, what I think is going to go on here at this new moon in Gemini is that we're getting lots of new, exciting ideas about what we want to do next in our lives or who we want to be next, especially after something good I think has recently happened here that is going to make us feel more free to be our authentic self. But even though we're getting lots of great ideas that we are excited about and falling in love with, I think we're feeling a bit overwhelmed by all of these ideas and just confused and uncertain here about which ones to choose and pursue and how to pursue them. That can be a little hard here and just make us feel a bit stuck. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. If you want to hear more about that, please do stay tuned because I'm going to hop into that right now. And in order to get started, what I like to do first is, of course, place on the chart what it is that I'm referring to here so that you can see it and follow along with me. So let me do that now. This video is for that new moon in Gemini on Thursday, June 6, 2024. Because of that, I have adjusted my chart accordingly for that lunar event. I know that because I've got the moon and the sun here in the same at the same degrees, 16 degrees here of the same sign, Gemini. And when the moon and the sun are together like that, that is what is considered a new moon here in the sign of Gemini. Okay, what is that all about? Well, new moons are all about new beginnings, new energy, and fresh starts here. Or doing things in new and different ways, especially because it is the beginning of a new lunar cycle here or a new lunar month. Okay, what is it that we're getting? A new beginning, new energy, fresh start, or new way of doing? Well, Gemini, because that's the sign here that the new moon is in. Okay, what is Gemini all about? Well, Gemini is a Mercury ruled sign, which does have a lot to do with thinking, and with talking here that's going on, and with the mind and with ideas. So already what that means to me is that we're getting new ways of thinking, new ways of talking, new ideas here about our life and how we want to approach it as well. Not only that here, but with it being fresh energy, this could also be us getting fresh energy or more energy to just think and talk and communicate here that's going on. Not only that here, but Gemini as well is also about, to me, a little more playful sign. It's more playful sign being correlated to two twin boys here. So I think it's also too about enjoying life a little bit more or having fun with a life here as well. That's part of it. And not only that, but Gemini also is a mutable sign, which means adapting to things, adjusting to things, getting used to things, especially with Gemini being correlated to our communities, our neighborhoods, which are things we typically know like the back of our hand that we're very familiar with here as well. So it's also about siblings too. So I think we're also getting fresh starts in regards to that. Not only a new way of thinking and talking or new ideas, and new ways of expressing ourselves and a lot of that, but more of a playful energy. We might be getting more of that and more of an ability or new ability to adapt to our current environment, to settle into that here, and to work with our community, neighborhoods, and siblings as well. Here that's going on in ways that are more adaptable and flexible. Okay, and I think that's all that I'm going to say for now about that. Before I move forward though and give you more of the specific details about this new moon itself and how it's going to play out, a lot of you who've been following me for a while know me. I like to go backwards in time quite a bit now before I go forwards. And I like to go backwards in time here to give you more of that context of how we got here and of why those themes that I just described are now coming up, because I do believe that the past context can make a very big difference here in how this energy plays out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, but if you're not interested in that or you're just tired of hearing that, totally fine, not a big deal. You can just go ahead and skip forward in the video. I do try to put timestamps down below in the description box for that purpose here for those of you who want to control your own journey. Not only that, but I do want to note as well, I have a podcast that I've started, and it's basically just this horoscope here that I do in audio form. So if you want to go ahead and listen to that, that. If that would be a lot easier for you to digest this information, please do check that out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, called the Ethereal Astrology Podcast. So you can go find that there. But I'm going to go ahead now and hop in. And to get started with this past context, I like to go back to a very significant time, which was around January to February here of it was like January to April, right around there, of 2020. Okay, around that time we had a very rare and difficult alignment, and that was Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, and the South Node too, all come conjunct towards the middle later degrees of Capricorn right about here. Okay, that's rare, that's rare because Saturn and Pluto only come conjunct about every 35 years, and not always with Jupiter or the South Node there. Not only is it rare, but it's also difficult because Saturn and Pluto are typically known as more challenging planets, especially being outer planets. And also too, because Jupiter was in Capricorn, his sign, it just doesn't function that well in, and because the South Node can also be hard too as well. So it was a very rare and difficult time. What was the rare difficulty that we were encountering? Well, Pluto is about permanent change and transformation in a lot of ways. And I think changing our life in a very big, significant way. With Jupiter, a big planet, the biggest planet being their big, significant way in the structure of our life, or the very bones, foundation of our life, with it being near both Saturn and Capricorn here. And I think it was about us changing our life in a very big way and the structure of it here, because there was something about it that had persisted for, remember, 35 years prior to this, that we either did not like, was not good for us and working for us, or that we just simply had outgrown here at this time. That's hard, because it required a lot of endings. Usually Pluto requires a lot of endings, maybe even confrontations there that were not super pleasant. So that was where my timeline starts. Realizing something's not right with our life in 2020, got to make big sweeping change in very significant parts of it in order to end things that was hard and confront people and stuff. And that then leads me now, the next alignment that I want to mention. I'm going to fast forward now a bit, 2 years, to April now of 2022, when we had a new moon solar eclipse somewhere around here at the beginning degrees of Taurus. Okay, now this to me was a good alignment. Here, I think one of the better ones that we had since 2020. And I think it was a good alignment here because it was new moons, which I tend to like better than full moons, and because it was on the North Node, mostly. That's mostly the reason why, because it was on the North Node, which is a lot about our purpose and destiny in life and what we're here to learn at this time. And a solar eclipse can superpower that and make it a big boost towards our destiny, with the new moon making that a good beginning of sorts. What were we getting? A big new boost towards our destiny that I thought was positive in Taurus, because that's where it was. Taurus is a lot about stability and security here in some ways. It was also too about fertility and abundance as well. So I think what happened in April 2022 is that we felt like we had ended enough stuff in our life that we didn't want, that we were in a bit of a better place, that felt a little bit more secure here and was more fertile and abundant from which to grow and do other things after that point. That then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which happened about 2 weeks after that. So pretty quickly after that, also somewhere around April of 2022. And at that time, we had a full moon lunar eclipse here on the South Node in the sign of Scorpio. Okay, now that was a bit more challenging here. Sure, maybe because it's a full moon. Sometimes full moons can be very intense, but especially because it was on the South Node here, and the South Node is a bit more difficult than the North Node here. What was the difficulty about that? Well, the South Node is really about letting things go and about things that we're kind of stuck in that are no longer good for us at this time. Eventually they'll be good for us, but just right now, no longer good for us and are holding us back here. That's going on. And that's difficult because we need to let go of things that are holding us back, but it's hard to let go of things that you've been doing for a while. So this was a bit of a challenge. What was it that we needed to let go of that was holding us back, that was hard to let go of? Well, those are Scorpio tendencies, not because Scorpio's a horrible sign, just because Scorpio at that time had the South Node in it there. And Scorpio, when negative, can bring too much change, right? It's a sign of change, right? Too much change, which wasn't needed anymore, right? Because we already made enough changes before that with the Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter stuff. Okay, not only can this bring us still stuck in this mindset of like, maybe I got to change more things, but it can also bring as well a tendency to engage too much with relationships here and to have power struggles or give our power away to other people. That again is not good for the new chapter of our life that we're trying to build that's supposed to be more fertile and abundant. Not only that, but Scorpio as well can be a lot about spending too much money, which isn't good when we're trying to build something new. We don't know what money we're going to need later on here. That's going on. Not only was that happening, but what also was going on is that we might have been still stuck in a lot of deep, intense emotions here about bad things that have happened in our past here that aren't helpful to when you're building something that's supposed to be better as well. That could have been a bit of a challenge there that we needed to kind of come to terms with those habits and release them there. Okay, so that's what happened in April of 2022. And did enough stuff that I didn't like in a better place now that's more fertile, but now I have habits that aren't helpful. Spending too much money, too attached to people, too many negative emotions here, and too much change that's hard for me to stop doing. It's like just a reflex here that's going on. Okay. And I think, if I can be honest with you, that took us almost all of 2022 to really understand what these habits were that I just mentioned and release them. It really wasn't until the following year, January of 2023, when I think we started to figure a lot of that stuff out. And it wasn't until January of 2023, because by January of 2023, Mars went retrograde in Gemini about our mindset, helping us to loosen that up here. And Mercury was finishing retrograde around that time in Capricorn, which also correlates to Gemini, which was the same. Mercury went retrograde over the same degrees that Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, and the South Node came conjunct in 2020. So it really wasn't until 2023 that I think we started to realize, okay, I am still making too many changes. I still am spending too much money, engaging too much with people and all of this stuff. And I need to adjust that. And where we started to make adjustments within ourselves, relationships, money, and right, our perspective to be more self-reliant, to be more thrifty, where we're saving money, to be more calm here and more secure, which I thought was good. Leading us to some very big shifts in the months after, especially because somewhere after that, I believe it was around February, March. I don't remember exactly, but around February to March of 2023, we had two important planets change signs. Pluto left Capricorn and entered the sign of Aquarius, where it hasn't been in our lifetimes. And Saturn also left the sign of Aquarius and entered the sign of Pisces here. Okay, that's significant because they're two slower moving planets, which tend to not change signs as often and indicate larger trends and themes in our life. Okay, so that was very big. And they also tend to indicate chapter changes in our lives as well because they move so slowly. So a big chapter change at that time. And I think with Pluto and Aquarius, for us to feel more free to be ourselves, pursue a different experience in life that really we've been trying to get to since 2020 here, and to feel more at peace about our situation with Saturn and Pisces, which can be about peace, and to release the past, also with Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac. So that was a very, very significant moment here where we felt like maybe we're able to move on again into what we originally intended here in 2020 and in 2022. Okay, so that happened there. That then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which I believe happened around May of last year, May of 2023. Okay, right? Yeah, last year's 2023. Around that time, we then had Venus go retrograde here in the sign of Leo. Now, this is a little bit of a challenging thing here because it is a planet, especially a personal planet, which we feel more personally, since it's closer to where we live here on Earth, went retrograde. And when it goes retrograde, we tend to feel stuck, right? Moving backwards, not able to move forward. That's what it's a symbol of. Can't move forward, feeling stuck, like we're moving backwards here. So in May of 2023, we felt stuck again, right when we had another opportunity to move into a new beginning. So it's 2020. Something happens again where we cannot move forward in the way that we originally wanted. Why is it that we're stuck here this time around? Well, it's the Leo stuff here, or else Venus wouldn't have a reason to go retrograde in Leo. What's Leo about? Leo's about happiness and joy and pleasure in life and loving life here. And I think the reason why we're stuck is because we were not happy and joyful and had become so alienated from happiness and joy and pleasure here in our lives that was going on. Okay, not only do I feel like it was that, but also maybe as a side note, around that same time, May of 2023, Pluto also retrograded back into the sign of Capricorn, where it's been for a while, which was also hard. And Capricorn, Pluto can bring us too much into something, and Capricorn can bring too much work, too much responsibility, emergency mode, which is the opposite of fun. It's not about fun, not having fun. So I think in May 2023, we were stuck again from moving into a different and better experience of life because we were still stuck in emergency mode, work, responsibility, and not honoring what made us happy. I don't think a lot of us had felt happy in a very long time. That's what I'm trying to say here, and knew what that feeling was like, especially after the past few years here that was going on. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which happened about 2 months later, July of 2023, last year sometime. Here we had Pluto that I was just talking about back in Capricorn making a square to the nodal axis, which includes the south node over here in Libra and the north node over here in Aries. Okay, that was also a bit of a challenge because Pluto can be very difficult, and it was at the last degree, that's where it happened, of a sign, which can be more intense. So that was hard. Not only is that hard, but it's a square to the nodes, which is called a skip step in evolutionary astrology by Jeffrey Wolfgreen, which is what I do. And a skip step can bring a sense of stuckness more, which we already knew was going on, more stuckness. Not only can it bring a sense of stuckness, but another thing that squares to the nodes can bring is a need for a big decision. There's a big decision, a big choice that needs to be made in order to get unstuck here at this time. And move forward and to get unstuck so that we could start to really honor our emotions and find our happiness and joy again here in the ways that it is that we needed, which I think, if I can be honest, because the South Node in Libra was the resolution node, required us to slow down and take life a little easier. So that's what then happened in July of 2023. Trying to move forward yet again to a better experience of life. I was trying to get to 2020 and 2022, just never happened. Trying to get to it, but I'm stuck again because I'm stuck in emergency mode, responsibility, work, not happy, not fun, not honoring my pleasureful emotions. And now I need to make big, uncomfortable changes in order to let go of some of this responsibility and honor more of my joy here and whatever the process takes in order to do that. Okay, that then now leads me to the beginning of this year. Okay, now I'm going to go a little more detailed with the moons. It leads me up to this year. We had a new moon in Capricorn somewhere around January of this year. Okay, that new moon in Capricorn was about us, I think, finally getting a better balance, especially because it squared that South Node in Libra. It was about us finally getting a better balance between work and responsibility and play and passion and emotions. Because it was never to not do work entirely. That was never the point, but just to balance work with play in a better way and where we felt more emotionally present. So I think we finally figured that out in January of this year, which was, or started to figure that out, which was nice. Then the next new moon was a month later, roughly in February of this year. And of course it was in Aquarius. And Aquarius is a lot about the future, trying things in unique approaches, doing things in unique ways, trying other stuff that's going on that's good for our future. And I think what happened in February of this year is that we then felt like we had this good balance between work and play, that maybe we could move on, trying to do more things in our life or other things in our life to build on top of this new beginning here that was unique and different and more authentic to us there. Okay, that then leads me now to the next new moon, which was in March. It was a new moon in Pisces also this year. And Pisces is a lot about the past and about old things that still haven't fully been resolved. Especially I think around this playing part and this resting part. So I think what happened in March of 2023 is that we realized, March of 2024 this year is that we realized, we're getting a better balance between work and play, but we still need more time to get used to that balance between work and play and take it easy and chill and rest without taking on too much or stressing ourselves out, that we still needed more time to really work that out here in the way that it is that we needed. And I think we started to take that time here in order to do so, which then led me to the next new moon, I think was an eclipse here around April here of this year, of the 2024. And at that new moon solar eclipse in Aries, Aries is about action here and about doing things and about moving forward and new beginnings. And I think in April of this year, we tried to move forward into more new beginnings and doing more new things. But I think based on how the aspects went, that we still weren't really ready, in April to move forward big strides yet, and still needed a little more time to rest and work out that balance between work and play and all of that. And I think we then kind of felt, like we had no choice except to kind of take it easy a little bit more. And I think us doing that then led to something very good about a month ago at that new moon in Taurus in May, of this year. And I think at that new moon in Taurus right around there, which was conjunct Jupiter and Uranus, I think something good and unexpected started to occur here because we'd rested and we'd had a better balance between work and play, and we're more in tune with our soul and with our emotions. And I think what good things started to happen then was us getting more of our mojo back, more of our energy back after resting, honoring, and just starting to feel more peppy again. Not only was that part of the good thing that happened, but because we had taken some time to ourselves, I think we also started to get more insights and clarity and understanding here that was very positive about our life, and especially about money, our gifts, skills, and talents, our confidence, our appearance, our health, our body, and how we could improve those here to help bring more things together, which is very, very good. And because something very good happened just a few weeks ago, we now get to this new moon in Gemini, of which this video is for on June 6th. And we're now feeling like new horizons are upon us, are opening up new ideas and new thoughts, especially because we're well rested now and good things have gone on. We're feeling new ideas, new possibilities, more flexible in life, more playful, more fun, more able to adapt and go out around town in the community here and things like that, with new ways of thinking and communicating about our lives here that's going on. Okay. And that's it for now, to be continued in the next videos. But that's where we are for the time being. Okay. Do I want to repeat that? Sorry, that's why I'm hesitating. Yeah, let me just repeat that. That's where we are here. Good things, maybe to summarize it more briefly, good things have recently happened in the past month, I believe, where we felt more rested and more energized, and where we've got some good luck and or good wisdom and insights here about money, our gifts, skills, and talents, our confidence, our self-worth, our beauty, our body appearance, our health here, and about how we can improve and work with all those better in a way that's going to make us more secure, that now is making us feel playful, happy, flexible, with new thoughts, new ideas, new mindsets here that's going on. Okay. And that's it. And because that's it, I'm now going to, I just erased the chart, and I'm now going to place this new moon on the chart one more time. And I'm going to place this new moon on the chart one more time so that now I can start talking about the details of this new moon in particular here and what this means. So let me do that. Here's the new moon on the chart, okay, which again is about new ideas opening up for us, new thoughts, new ways of thinking and communicating, more playfulness, flexibility, ability to adapt to our situation, go out more in our community, okay? Okay, what I want to look at now in terms of this new moon is the fact that it's conjunct Venus. I think that's where I want to start, right? The most obvious one here in the chart. It's almost conjunct Venus exactly here. Okay, what is this? This is a beautiful thing. Like, let's start there. This is a very good. Why is this a very good thing? It's very good because the sun, moon, and Venus, which are all conjunct here, are all personal planets in a lot of ways, and they're all typically considered benefic planets as being easier to deal with or just bringing better things here that's going on. So they're all typically known as positive planets, and they all get along very, very well. So that's one thing why it's good. Not only is it good because of that, but Venus in particular, now to focus on that, is a planet that's more of the feminine principle, more known of being open to receive, very open-minded. I think Gemini is pretty open-minded to begin with, but Venus there can make it more open-minded, more open to receive things here that's going on. Not only that, but Venus is also a lot about beauty and ease and can bring more peace in some way here as well. Not only is Venus about beauty and ease and peace, sometimes we can even consider Venus a planet of romance here as well that's going on. And romance in terms of ideas, falling in love with an idea. Here's more what we're referring to with the Gemini influence. Okay, there's that. Not only that, but Venus too can be about relationships here as well. And again, it's good things with that. So we're more, and in the Gemini, ideas and thoughts. So with Venus there, especially with this new moon, we're getting a lot of new ideas, right? New ideas, new perspectives, new thoughts, more playfulness. And the Venus there is making us open to receive it. Not only are we getting new ideas, but we're open to receiving these ideas and these thoughts that are coming our way here. And we feel very good, more calm, more peaceful about these ideas, like they're beautiful, like they're resonating with us, like they're interesting here. That's going on that I think can be very nice. And we might even want to talk about them here with other people as well. That's going on. Not only that, but with the Venus influence, I should say this too, being about relationships, and Venus also can be about money. A lot of these new ideas that we're getting too could be about relationships and money, and maybe even the way we present ourselves, new things we want to do next with relationships and money, and how we present ourselves here, and all of that that's going on. Okay, so I think that that's what's happening there that I like. Okay. Yeah, anything else? Yeah, it's just a good alignment. We're feeling good about it, feeling connected to it. That then leads me to the next thing that I want to mention, which is going to be that this new moon and Venus here is in a sextile to the North Node in the sign of Aries. Okay, what is this? This to me is also a good alignment as well. And it's a good alignment because it's a sextile, and I personally just always interpret sextiles in a positive way because they're an aspect between two planets or points here, and signs of complementary elements that complement each other, and in this case fire and air. So I tend to like it also too because to me sextiles have the flavor of Gemini, right? Gemini is sextile 60 degrees, Gemini is 60 degrees from Aries. So also that's part of the reason why, especially with this Gemini new moon going on here, I tend to like sextiles. Okay, what is that about? Well, sextiles to me, because they're between complementary signs, do tend to indicate to me opportunities here, or also things that are starting to open up to us in some positive way. And the North Node here, well, all these Gemini planets are about our thoughts and ideas, and the North Node here is about our purpose and our destiny in this lifetime, or at this time in our lives, and it's in Aries. And Aries has a lot to do with action and with passion and with drive and with motivation here as well, kind of like moving forward on things and taking the bull by the horns. So what this means to me so far is not only that we're getting a lot of new ideas and ways of thinking about our lives, especially after some good things have recently happened, but that these ideas are very good. We're in love with these ideas. They're very interesting. We're open to receive them. We're very excited about them, but that they're making us feel even more passionate about life, and that I'm more excited about life, and that we want to act on these ideas. We want to put these ideas into action and move forward on them in order to bring more good things together in our life and help us progress here even more in a way that we might like. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which is going to be here where Mercury is also in the sign of Gemini here, making a trine to Pluto and Aquarius. This is also an alignment that I do like here for the most part. And it's an alignment that I do like because we have Mercury now here in Gemini, its home sign, where it really likes to be and therefore functions very well. And because a trine can be helpful, not all the time, but some of the time. And I like it, especially with the Mercury here being so well placed. What is the good thing going on here? Well, Mercury is in Gemini, where the new moon in Venus is, about, again, those new perspectives, new ideas, new thoughts, new ways of seeing the world, and this more playful approach to life that it is that we're getting. And it's connecting with Pluto and Aquarius, and Pluto can bring a lot of intense desire and focus to an area, and it's in Aquarius, which is also an air sign like Gemini, about our ideas and our thoughts. So this is bringing more just desire, a lot more, not just beautiful ideas, falling in love with ideas here, but a lot of excitement and passion and desire to enact our ideas here and to explore them here. That's going on. Not only that, but Aquarius also has a lot to do with our future, like our goals and dreams here, and with our authentic self. So I think not only is there just a lot of passion and desire and excitement around these ideas, but we're feeling as though these ideas that we're having are also more authentic to ourselves and who we are, and will be more liberating to us and give us just a better, more freeing future and vision for our future than what we've had before, which I think is also very exciting and inspiring. So that's what we've got so far. New ideas, thoughts, perspectives, especially after some good things have recently happened in our life the past few weeks, if you've been watching those horoscopes here, that we feel very good about. We love these new ideas, very peaceful about, that we're open to receive, that especially about relationships and money, that we want to talk about here, that we feel that are making us more excited and passionate for life, that we want to act on here, and that we think is going to give us a much better vision of our future that's more freeing and liberating to us. Okay, that then leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention here, which is where things now start to get a little bit hairy. And this next alignment I want to mention is going to be back to Mercury in Gemini, because even though Mercury is in Gemini and making a trine to Pluto in Aquarius, it's also now in a conjunction here with Jupiter in the sign of Gemini as well, which has entered since the last time we spoke here. Okay, and this to me is now not my favorite alignment here, and not one I'm a huge fan of compared to the others. Why is this one not my favorite alignment here? Well, sure, Mercury's in Gemini, its home sign, which is good, but Jupiter is now in Gemini. And while Mercury enjoys Gemini, is at home there, Jupiter does not like Gemini and does not function very well there at all as a result. Okay, and Jupiter doesn't like Gemini because planets don't really like the sign that's opposite of their home sign, right? Jupiter is naturally correlated to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the opposite sign of Gemini. So now Jupiter is having to do something opposite than what it normally does, which is just going to make it function in very weird ways that can be very hard here at this time, especially with Jupiter, not only in a sign it doesn't like, but connecting with the ruler of the sign that it doesn't like here. That can be hard. Well, what is the difficulty about it? Well, let's discuss. Mercury, which is here in Gemini, which is correlated to its home sign, is a very small planet, or a smaller one, so to speak. And Jupiter is a very big planet in our solar system here that's going on. So Jupiter can bring a lot of things, and with Mercury, a lot of little things. And a lot of little things in terms of ideas, right? A lot of little ideas, or just a lot of ideas that's going on, which with Jupiter now there in a sign doesn't like to be in, can be too much, too many. There's so many ideas, so many things I want to do that now I'm excited about that I didn't realize were available to me just a few months and years ago here that's going on, that can again feel overwhelming. Or if it doesn't bring a lot of ideas that are just so many ideas that are overwhelming, then it can make the ideas you currently have just feel big, just feel too much to handle and to wrangle. And not only is that part of the problem here with Jupiter in Gemini, which unfortunately it will be for the next 12 months, but another issue too is that Jupiter and Sagittarius, which is correlated to, is really all about synthesizing information. That's what Jupiter and Sagittarius are about: wisdom, understanding. And what wisdom and understanding is about putting facts together to make the facts mean something more than the sum of their parts here. And while Jupiter in Sagittarius, where its home sign, is about synthesizing information, Gemini is not. Gemini is not about wisdom. It's not about understanding. It's just about facts and information. Gemini gathers facts and information and just parrots them, and other people make sense of them. Or Jupiter is what makes sense of them. It's other people figure out what to do with that facts here and with that information that's going on. So not only is a difficulty here with this alignment, that we're either getting so many new exciting ideas about life that we want to do that there's just too many of them that are overwhelming, or the few ideas we do have just feel too big and crazy here. But the problem could also be that we don't know how to make sense of, right? That's what wisdom is, making sense of things. We don't know how to make sense of these new ideas and these new thoughts and this new lifestyle that we're going into. We don't know how to make sense of it, or what it all means, or what to do first, or where to start, or how to start, and all of this stuff here as well that's going on. That could also be a bit difficult. Very exciting, very exciting, but overwhelming and confusing, and not quite sure here what exactly is going on. That's hard. So are you seeing that so far? New ideas, open to receive these new ideas about what we can do next. They're coming with relationships and money. We like them a lot. Very excited, going to give us a better future, more freeing and liberating. We want to act on them. But even though we want to act on them, there's too many ideas, or the ideas just feel too big, that now we're overwhelmed and confused and don't know where to start. How do we act? And what way to act? On what first? When? I don't know. That's happening here. Okay. That and leads me now to the next alignment that I want to mention, which is going to be back to that new moon. I'm kind of skipping around between the new moon and the aspects happen around it, but it's going to make sense here better this way, I think. So I'm going to go back to the new moon here. And not only is that new moon conjunct Venus, but it is also making a square all of these planets, the sun, moon, and Venus, over here to Saturn in the sign of Pisces. Okay, now this is also a difficult alignment as well. Okay, this is difficult because it's a square, which is typically known as a hard aspect. Here, a 90-degree angle is a hard one. Not only that, but it's Saturn, and Saturn also too can tend to be a little bit difficult as well, having to do with restriction and seriousness here too. So this can be a bit of a challenge here as well. What is the challenge here that's going on? Well, maybe I'll start with the Saturn here. Saturn is a lot about decisions and commitments. That's what it likes and what it thrives on here. And what we could be feeling, part of what we could be feeling here is pressure to make a decision on an idea, on something new we want to do, on how we want to do it, on in what way, on these ideas and on these mindsets here that's going on. We could feel pressure to kind of make a decision when clearly we're not ready for a decision here that's happening. Not only could this put pressure on us, but Saturn can also make us feel a bit stuck here as well, stuck and repressed, right? Especially because we're confused. We want to act, but we're confused. We don't know what to do. We feel stuck. We need to make a decision. So it can bring a lot of difficulty there too. Not only can Saturn bring that, but in some cases, I don't know if this is true for everybody, but I think is a potential. In some cases, it can also cause us to make decisions that maybe aren't the best for us to make the decision, because we're feeling pressured and we want to do something, to make decisions here that really aren't the best for us, especially not with the Jupiter now in Gemini here that's going on. That could be a little hard and make decisions that aren't the best for us too. With some of the Pisces, Pisces also can be confused, illusions, not seeing things clearly. So it can also cause us, if not just to feel stuck and the pressure to make a decision, then actually make a decision here that isn't in our best interest here. Why? Maybe I need to give a little more on that. Why is there decisions that aren't in our best interest, or not the best decisions here? Well, yes. Okay. Part of it is going to go back to that Jupiter conjunct Gemini, with the Jupiter not liking to be in Gemini, because now we've got too many ideas and we don't know how to make sense of them. And therefore the decisions are going to be funky if we don't know which idea to choose and how to parse through it all. Okay. But not only that, there's another reason as well that the Saturn in Pisces, I think, is trying to bring out here too. And it's because of the Pisces influence. Pisces is a lot about the past, being the last sign of the zodiac. And with Saturn there, we're not finished with the past. We're not finished working things out, especially not with Neptune now at the last degree of Pisces. Like peak past stuff, still junk hanging around here, whether we realize it or not, that's going on. So this is still some stuff from the past here that might need to be resolved, which can take on, one of two forms. I think one form that I'll mention is more a mental perspective or an internal perspective and mindset, especially with it connecting to Gemini. right, about the mind, and Pisces being about a past mindset. So a part of the problem too is not only so much information here that's going on, it feels so big, don't know how to make sense of it, but the reason why there's so much information going on and we don't know how to make sense of it is because we may still be stuck in a past mindset here from an old way of life, say before 2020, that really doesn't apply anymore here, that's going on, and could be a past mindset with the Pisces influence. Pisces, when negative, right, which is what we're pulling out, can bring a victim, feeling like a victim, feeling like everything goes wrong with our life just because it does, or I can only do certain things because I'm a certain age or I'm a certain way, or things like that. It can bring a lot of this delusional victimization type of thinking here that's going on. So that's another reason why we may not be thinking clearly. So many ideas can't parse through it because our mindset is still stuck in an old time here and in a negative time that now needs to be more fully resolved. I know I've mentioned it in horoscopes here and there over the course of the past few years, but I think now really needs to be more fully resolved. Not only that, but Pisces too is also not only about like past mindsets or past emotional states here, but it can also too be about just things from the past in more of a physical way that still need to be worked through. And I think I mean that in a few ways. I think that can mean, some things from the past that still need to be released, right? Pisces is the sign of letting things go and releasing things being the last sign, but could also too just be things from the past, especially with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that just happened in Taurus, that still need to be solidified, that still need to be more stable and more secure here as well, that isn't quite yet firm in the way that it needs. So it could also indicate that we're having trouble making decisions to figure out what we want to do next, because what we've been doing and trying to work towards is coming together, but still needs to firm up a little bit, still needs to become a little more solid here before we add on new things. Because if we add on new things before this old stuff really is firm, then the foundation's just going to crumble and fall apart. So it could also be some things like that still aren't done, that are also clouding our judgment here of what comes next. That could also be a little bit hard for us there as well. Okay, so that's more of the story here. Okay, to continue to bring it all together here. We're getting new ideas and thoughts and perspectives at this new moon in Gemini, especially after something very good has happened to us over the course of the past few weeks. And these new ideas and thoughts are around relationships and money here, and our own sense of self, and different things that we want to do with this next. Not only are we getting a lot of these new thoughts about relationships and money and new and different things we want to do with those next, but we're open to receiving those, and we're really liking these ideas that we're getting, and we're feeling very inspired by them, like they're making us enjoy life more, and like they're going to give us a better vision of our future that's more authentic to us, that we want to act on right away. And that's wonderful. But even though we got a lot of ideas that we're excited about, love, want to act on right away, there's a problem. And the problem is that there's almost too much of these ideas, or these ideas just feel too big, that it's overwhelming us and making us confused now about how to make sense of those, which one to pick first, where to start, what to do, how to go about all of these things, which is making us feel overwhelmed, yes, but also stuck and confused and uncertain. And not only are we feeling stuck and confused and uncertain, but we're also feeling pressured to make decisions, I think inwardly by ourselves, pressured to make decisions here, especially because we're so excited about these ideas, to not, so that we can move on and pick an idea and move forward. And that's hard, right? Because we don't know what decision to make. Not only is that going on, but some of us, I don't think all of us, but some of us may actually make decisions now and make the wrong decisions here that aren't working for us. And the reason why we're either making wrong decisions or confused and overwhelmed and not knowing what decisions to make at all here is because, yes, there's a lot of ideas that we're very excited about, but I think it's also because we still have a mentality that's still stuck in the past, which for many of us, some of us, could be victim mindset or just negativity. And when bad things happen to us at a certain point, Not only is that part of the reason why we're having trouble making good decisions, is because we're still stuck in negative mindsets from the past, but also too, because there may still be some things in our life that we've been working towards since 2020 that still need just a little more time to firm up, a little more time to get solid, a little bit more time to come together that just aren't there quite yet, even though they're very close and very good in getting there. That's going on. Okay, that then leads me on to the next alignment that I want to mention, which is going to be where Mars is. Okay, now Mars is still in Aries at the time of this new moon, but it is an orb to a square to Pluto in Aquarius, and it will be there in a few days after this new moon. Not only will it be there exact in a few days after this new moon, but also a few days after this new moon, it will be in Taurus, a sign it does not like to be in. Here, putting both Mars and Jupiter in places they don't function that well. So this to me is also a bit of a challenge. What is the challenge here? Well, again, Mars is about action. Mars is about action here, and square to Pluto is not a good alignment for that, with a square being hard and Pluto too. And this can indicate feeling stuck when it comes to action, still not being able to act. Not only can this indicate stuckness, but Pluto and Mars are very driven. This can also indicate impatience and frustration. And a lot of times too, this can bring out anger. Especially now with Mars and Aries, it can bring out a lot of anger here of like, I want to make a decision. I want to do something. I've got so many ideas, and just feeling very frustrated. Not only that, but I'm getting the sense of like, this can be a little bit of a pressure cooker, especially because Pluto sometimes can, being, correlated to Scorpio, can hold things in a lot of times. So there can also be this sense of, I've got so many passion and so many ideas that I'm holding in and I just want it to come out, and can indicate, frustration, anger, impatience, or just behaving in weird ways here. Behaving in weird ways if you don't make a decision because you didn't make it, there's no channel for your passion, and behavior in weird ways if you do make a decision because the decision might not be the best one here for your situation as well. That can be very, very hard. Okay, that's going on there. Okay, and because that's going on now, and that's the challenge there, I'm now going to give you some advice. I always like to leave you with some of that. Okay, and I think the advice that I'm going to give you is going to be twofold. The first piece of advice I'm going to give you is going to be with the Gemini stuff, especially with the new moon there and with Mercury there in the sign of Gemini, its home sign, where it really likes to be. Okay, what is that advice here? Gemini is not about new things. Okay. Let's get this straight here. Even though the new moon's in its sign now, on the whole, Gemini is not about new things. That's really what maybe Aries is about, being the first sign of the zodiac, and Sagittarius is about here. Gemini is not about new things, new projects, new things. It's not about hundreds of things, more things. It's about working with what you have. That to me is really the heart of what Gemini is. It's about working with what you have and adapting to that and having fun with that. Having fun with where you are and doing stuff with that, here that's going on. So I think the first piece of advice that I want to give with the Mercury and Gemini here, and the new moon in Gemini, is don't. Now to me is not the time to pursue new ideas and new projects and to make big decisions and big commitments to them. I personally just don't think it is. Okay. And I think if you do that, you may find in October of this year that you made the wrong decision and you want to back out of it. Okay, and pursue something else. So now is not the time for new things and big decisions. It's the time for small, simple, and just having fun with where you're at, here that's going on, and to focus more on that. Okay, not only that, but Gemini as well is not about making sense of your situation. Sagittarius is, and Sagittarius is the archer, right? That's the symbol. It aims for things. It picks something and it aims for it. Gemini doesn't. It doesn't make sense of things. It just is what it is. And it's more non-committal to stuff. Not like Sagittarius is super committal either, but more non-committal to things here. And to me, Gemini is more open-minded, more about gathering information instead of trying to make sense of it and figure things out. So not only is, I think, part of the advice that I want to give you here to really not do new things, and do not take on big projects and make big decisions and commitments at this time here, but is to just remain open to just information here and to learning, to learning new information and to gathering facts, not doing anything with the information, just to remain open to learning information and to gathering facts. That's it. That's all you need to do here, and just enjoying where you are and playing and having fun within your current experience and getting used to that. Because I think that's really more of what's needed at this time. And if I can be honest, I think that's really the reason why Jupiter's in Gemini. Jupiter's not in Gemini to get you to do new projects. Jupiter's in Gemini to get you to enjoy the projects you already started. Enjoy those projects you already started and work with those projects, and just make those better and enjoy those, like that's really what the Jupiter in Gemini here is for, even though we may get a little ahead of ourselves with it. Hey, not only is that the advice, but I want to go to the Saturn that's squaring the new moon as well here in Pisces. And that which we talked about earlier is a lot about mindsets from the past that maybe are based on a victim mentality or just negative things here, I think, and habits from the past. So I think that's another piece of advice here as well, is while you're just chilling and not making big decisions and just working with what you have and gathering information, spend more of your time rooting out negative mindsets from the past that aren't working, or victim mindsets, just getting rid of those. I think that's where more maybe of the luck might be here that's going on. The more you can get rid of the old stuff, be easier to do some of this other stuff. So I think there's more of that. Not only that, but the Saturn in Pisces, as we talked about, Pisces is also about stuff from the past that still needs to solidify and be more solid, especially again after that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus that recently happened, which I think was a very significant alignment. I'll probably be mentioning a lot more here than I already have in the future. And not only that, I think another piece of advice is to work with what's currently in your life or what has happened in your life recently that's been good, and just solidifying that, making that more secure, more stable, more solid here, which sometimes is a slower process here as well as we go about it, because I think that's a better use of your time here. Okay, not only do I want to note that about this advice, but I also want to note as well that I think that this might be, I think there's still a little struggle about that advice that I gave you internally. But even though there's a little struggle about that advice I gave you internally, I think there's going to be more of a willingness to accept this advice now than next lunar month, say the new moon in Cancer, and then the next few months of the year. So even though there's still a little tension around that advice, I think now we're going to be more able to accept that and more naturally than we will other months. So I want to add that. And I think part of the reason why I think that now we're going to be more open to come around to that is because even though Jupiter's in Gemini right now, Mercury's in Gemini, the sun's in Gemini, the moon's in Gemini, Venus is in Gemini here. And those planets, especially Mercury, which likes to be in Gemini, are going to lean more towards, okay, let's just chill. Don't make decisions. Don't do new things. Like, let's just chill and just gather information and talk. I think that they're going to be okay with it. But come a month from now, Mercury's going to be out of Gemini. The sun's going to be out of Gemini. The moon's going to be out of Gemini. Venus is going to be out of Gemini. And it's going to move into a different place, which is going to be in Cancer. And Cancer likes more certainty, right? Cancer likes safety. I need to know, right? Knowing brings safety. Decisions bring safety. So I think that even, and Jupiter's going to be left in Gemini, in this place it doesn't like to be. So even though there's a little struggle around this advice, I think we're going to come around to like, okay, I'll just chill and gather more information for the next few weeks. But come 4 weeks from now, the new moon in Cancer and onwards, I think we're going to get pressured again to make decisions and maybe fall back into some of this stuff now that's coming up, which is really a main theme for the rest of the year that is going to be hard, that you're just going to have to watch out for. Okay, so that you don't do that, and you're going to have to make sure that you don't make these wrong decisions by just remaining to stay open and being very non-committal here throughout the rest of this year, which we will obviously talk way more about with more detail as we get closer to that. Okay, and that's it, because that's it. I'm now just going to repeat all of that one last time without the astrological jargon. So let me do that now. What I think is going on here at this new moon in Gemini is that we're getting a lot of new thoughts and mindsets and ideas about our life and what we want to pursue next, especially after some good things recently happened in our lives with our money, with our gift, skills, and talents, with our sense of self-worth, with our beauty and appearance. here that's going on. Okay, and these ideas that we're getting, we're open to receive them, and they're very good ideas, and we're feeling very interested in them and excited about them here. Like they're very inspiring and going to give us a better vision of our future, a better lifestyle that's more authentic to us, that we want to grab the bull by the horns and act on right away. Okay, but even though we got a ton of new, beautiful ideas about different possibilities and opportunities that are good for us that we want to act on right away, I think there's a problem. And I think the problem is that there's either too many ideas now that we're getting, now that the floodgates are open, too many good ideas that we're getting that we're excited about, that it's making us overwhelmed, or there's only a few ideas that we're getting, but they feel so big and huge that are also overwhelming us here too. Not only do I think that's the problem, but I also think as well that we don't really know how to make sense of these ideas because there are so many of them, or because they are so big, and to really figure out which one to pursue first, when, in what way, and how. And because of that, we are, yes, feeling overwhelmed. I think we could also be feeling a little confused and stuck here and frustrated. And this stuckness and frustrated may make us feel pressured to make a decision about what to do here that we're really not ready to make, or maybe even make the wrong decisions here at this time that could make us here either act out in weird ways, whether we've made a decision or not, because we've got so much passion and excitement channeled that we either don't know how to use or are using in the wrong ways here. That can be very hard and maybe even create some arguments or anger here at this time. And the reason why, the deeper reason why we've got so many ideas here and why we're overwhelmed and don't know how to make sense of them is because I think there's just a lot of ideas and we haven't had this many in a while, but also too because I think our mindset is still stuck in the past and negative things and negative emotions, maybe even a victim mentality, self-sabotage here that we need to more fully address. And because there's still some things in our life that have recently occurred that need to be more solid, need to be more secure, that aren't solid yet, even though they're definitely well on their way to getting there here at this time. Okay, and because that's what's going on, and that can be a little hard, I'm now going to give you some advice. And the advice that I want to give you here is to not make any big decisions or commitments at this time, if you can avoid it, not to do that here, and to instead work with what you have and give yourself more time to just gather information and gather facts and learn about your situation. Not only is that the advice, but the advice also too is to spend this time while you're just chilling and learning here to root out old mindsets or victim mentalities that aren't good for you here, and to make where you currently are just more solid and more secure here in the way that you need, which I think even though maybe a struggle, a lot of you are going to come around to in the next few days more easily than you perhaps will next month or so, when you might get antsy and impatient yet again. Okay, and that's it. Okay. Okay. Now I like to add some other notes here. I have noticed lately I haven't really had a lot to say in this section of the video, so I'm like, maybe I should just get rid of it. I don't know, but there is one thing I do think might be important to say, okay, that some of you all might be confused about. So I just want to clarify here. This new moon in Gemini, we're getting new ideas, right, about things we can do next in our life that are authentic to us, that are exciting, that we're going to love, to build on top of what's already happened here, okay? That's what this new moon is about. And I think what I'm worried is that a lot of you all are going to confuse it with the last new moon, which was in a new moon in Taurus and the last full moon 2 weeks ago in Sagittarius, and confuse it with that. And I'm worried some of you might be like, oh, well, I had something new that I was thinking about the past month, you know, at the new moon in Taurus, whatever, that I was convinced was a good idea. And now all of a sudden you're telling me not to do it. I'm worried that some of you are going to get confused. And I think there's a thought here that I need to say is that new moon in Taurus and that full moon in Sagittarius, which is past, are about very different things than what this new moon in Gemini is about. Okay, it's like the energy shifted, and in between our time talking here, especially with Jupiter moving into Gemini here, a very significant energy has shifted. So keep that in mind here. I believe that they're separate things. So don't get them confused. And what that means is that whatever good idea came to you that you started around around a month ago was good. That's keep it. Don't get rid of it. That was a good thing. So if you recently started a new job or learned a new skill or started something new with your body and your appearance and your health a month ago on those alignments that we talked about, great. I love it. Wonderful. Keep that. Stay with that. Okay. That's not what this is referring to. What this new moon in Gemini is referring to is something else on top of that. Okay. It's something else in addition to that. So, and it's holding off on that thing here. It's like taking that thing to the next level, right? This new moon is saying, whatever happened a month ago or whatever, good, keep that, but stay there. Don't do 500 things now. Don't take on 500 more projects. Don't do more to take it to the next level. Don't add something else onto it. Stay with this thing that's recently occurred and just get used to that. Get used to that and learn about it and what it is, learn the ropes and how it works. That's what it's saying here. Okay. So maybe to give you some examples of what that might be, let's say last month, some of you all got a new job in a new field or something that you felt really strongly about was good for you at that time. Okay. That's great. Keep that job. Stay there, But what might happen at this new moon in Gemini and for the rest of the year is that then you might get ahead of yourself and you might say, I got this new job. I love it. I'm going to do everything at my new job. I'm going to take on this new project and this new project and this new project. I'm going to talk to this person and that person because there's so many things I can do that I love about this new job. Now I have all these ideas here and I'm going to do this thing on the side and this thing on the side and this thing on the side. No, just stay with the new job you have here and give your ideas and all these new projects more time to cook. More time for you to learn the ropes. Okay, go slow. Here, when it comes to that, that's what I'm saying here. Not give up the new job that you were super clear about, a month ago. I'm not saying give that up. Here, I'm just saying hold your horses before you do more things after that. Okay, same with a new skill or talent. Maybe some of you recently have realized you want to learn a new skill or a new talent a month or so ago, or whatever, somewhere around there. That's great. I'm not saying stop that. I'm not saying hold off, don't do anything. It's great. Keep learning the new skill and talent, but walk before you run. Crawl before you walk before you run. Keep learning the new skill and talent, but take it slow. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't try to take on clients and projects when you don't even know the skill yet. Take your time. Could be something with your body or your appearance. Maybe some of you just made a decision to change your hair color, or something like that after the Taurus stuff that was going on, because you want a different look. Well, now all of a sudden with this new moon in Gemini, you could be like, oh my gosh, I love it. I love my different color hair. It's so great. Now I want to change my, my close-up. I want to change my close-up and I want to change my style and I want to totally, add this in my hair and do this crazy thing. And it's like, whoa. You change your hair color. That's good. Stick with that. You don't need to do all these crazy things at once here. Keep it small. Give yourself time. Give yourself time to get used to it and to figure out what you want to do. And if you're going to do something else with your appearance, make it non-committal, right? Something that's just fun that you can change if you wanted to change it at any minute. It's like, keep it. Don't go crazy. Don't go crazy here. Keep it simple and something you can back out of. Okay. Could be something here like that, or maybe it's a health thing, since we mentioned last video, the Taurus stuff could bring something with the body since Taurus is an earth sign to do with fertility. So maybe some of you just gotten a health treatment or something that you felt very strongly about a month ago and it's been working for you. Well, what can happen at this new moon in Gemini is you can be like, oh, now I got this health treatment. Let me add on 5 other health treatments because this one's working. So maybe I'll speed up the process and or if you're not thinking, let me add all these other health treatments, maybe you're like, I'm feeling good. Let me do all this stuff and go everywhere and do all these things because now, the medicine's working. And it's like, okay, let's not add on all of these other health things that maybe you're not sure of that, is going to be a difficult thing that could cause, could be weird with the body. And let's not hit the ground running and all these things here. Give yourself time, Gemini, to get used to it. That's what Gemini is about. Let's adapt. Let's get used to things here and settle into it to make it more familiar. Give yourself time to adapt to these things here. Or maybe it was a new way of making money. Maybe some of you have recently stepped into a new way if you own our own business and don't have a traditional job. Maybe some of you recently cultivated a new way of making money through your business here a month ago, and that's very good. Stay with that. But what could happen at this new moon in Gemini is that now you could all of a sudden have all these other new money-making ideas. Oh, well, this is working. I just did this new idea and this is working. Now I can do this to make money and this to make money and this to make money. And now I can try all this stuff. And it's like, you can. You can eventually try all these things. But slow down. And why don't you wait to see how this other thing's going to work out before you do the next thing? That's what we're talking about here is like, you got to crawl before you can walk. You got to walk before you can run. And we're still in the crawling to walking stage, right? We're still there. We're not ready to run yet. We need more time to really figure these things out. Okay. Super, super important. Okay. And why? Maybe I need to explain that a little better. Why is that the case? I think the case here is because even though we're getting a more strong foundation in a new life since 2020 that we've been working to, and the foundation is becoming more solid than it's ever been since 2020, there's something about it that's still not solid yet, especially with Neptune at the last degree of Pisces. And if you go on taking too much on now, before this foundation has really become truly solid in the way that it needs, then the foundation is going to crack when you have taken on too much, right? If the foundation's not solid and you're taking on a lot of stuff, the foundation's not strong enough to handle it. Here, you got to wait till the foundation comes more solid and go slowly so that it can last longer. Okay. Not only is that the reason why not to take on too much stuff here because of that, but another reason why here is because not every season of life or chapter of life is meant to be productive, is meant to be busy, is meant to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. Not every season of life is meant to be that way. Sometimes we need seasons of life to just chill, to just relax, to just get used to things, right? Which is what Gemini is about. Gemini is not a serious sign. Gemini is not your sign of karma. It's not your sign of responsibility. It's not your sign of work. Gemini is the sign of just like chatting with people about random stuff, and just thinking about things and considering stuff. So it's like not every time of life needs to be super productive, and super busy and serious. We need fun times just to relax and just to get used to things. And that's the point. Not taking on new things and just chilling helps you adapt to a different experience. And that's what we're doing now. We're adapting to the new life we've been trying to create since 2020. Because even though we're more and more in a new life since 2020, especially last month, which was very significant with that Jupiter-Uranus-Taurus conjunction, we haven't adapted to it. We're in the new. It's becoming more solid, becoming very close, but we haven't adapted to it. And that's what this year is about. You have to adapt to a new experience, which means not taking on too much. Because if you're taking on too much and taking on a lot, you're not adapting, you're doing new stuff and you're not getting used to it, because it's hard to get used to something when you've got all this other stuff going on and you can't even think. Okay. So that's what I think we need to be aware of here. And not only do I want to say that, but I also want to note this is the theme for a while. Jupiter, which just entered Gemini, is going to be in Gemini for a year. Okay. So for a lot of this year, although I think the eclipse season in October, there's going to be a change here, but for a lot of this year, what that means is that we're not taking on new projects. We're not making big commitments to new things. We're working with what we have and exploring that in very fun, non-committal ways. Okay, that's the theme for this year, and that's where we need to stay. And we're going to be tempted out of that with the Jupiter there, but that's what's going to be going on. And maybe part of the reason we're going to be tempted out of this adapting phase into doing more new things is because of the Pluto in Capricorn, right? Pluto's not back in Capricorn yet, but it's going to retrograde back in Capricorn soon. And what's Capricorn about? Work, responsibility. So this idea of like, I need to take on new projects, I need to do more new things now, bigger, faster, better, I think is the remnant of a Pluto and Capricorn lifestyle of work and responsibility, right? Pluto can bring too much work, too much responsibility, and of a society that has the Pluto and Capricorn society where our worth is based on our productivity. So I think another reason why we really do need to just chill for most of the next year and not make big decisions, not take on big projects, and just relax and have fun and just like gather information about our experience here is, and all of that is because we're trying to decondition ourselves from this Pluto and Capricorn life for the past, since 2008, I think, in which we've been conditioned that we have to always work, we have to be on, we always have to do things in order to be productive. And do you see how that might work with the Sagittarius? Because Pluto was in Sagittarius before Capricorn, okay? And Jupiter correlates to Sagittarius, and it's now in Gemini. So do you see how that would relate? If society, just to make sure my point's clear, if the Pluto and Capricorn world says your worth is based on your society, which it's not, but Pluto will distort that. If the Pluto Capricorn world says your worth is based on your productivity, then wouldn't that make sense that now our natural tendency would be like, I need to do more. I need to be more productive. I need to buy more stuff. I need to do more things, right? Like, and I think the Jupiter in Gemini is trying to say, no, your worth is not based on your productivity. Pluto, leave Capricorn ASAP. It's like your worth is not based on your productivity. Your value is not based on how much you can accomplish and how many new ideas you're doing and when you're doing them. Like your worth is by being and enjoying life and doing the best you can, with that. So I think there's another, maybe even deeper reason of why Jupiter is in Gemini, where it doesn't like to be now at this time. Because it didn't have to happen with all these other alignments, but it's happening now is to get a lot of us out of this conditioning that we need to do more in order to be happy, that we need to be more productive in order to be successful. We don't. Gemini is not about more, bigger. Sure, some of you could be like, well, Gemini is about the twins. It's about two things. Yeah, but I mean, they're just two things. They're not 500. They're not 1,000. And these two things, with Mercury being a very small planet, are usually simpler. So this isn't about new big projects and aiming big for those. It's just about like a little bit of here, a little bit there. A little bit here, a little bit there. Maybe not. Maybe I'll do this. I don't know, whatever. I'm just exploring. Like it just, doesn't have to add up to much, right? Your days don't, and that's the Gemini. Gemini is not good at synthesizing information. These things, your days don't have to add up to much. You just do a little here, a little bit there, and that's it. Just to see the experience. So I hope that some of that's becoming more clear here. Okay. Now I guess I can look at your inside degree. I know I'm going over. I don't know all my videos. I do daily videos on horoscope.com. If you want to look at that, I think it's like the daily planetary forecast. I do those. Those were supposed to be shorter. All my videos have gotten longer. They're still about like 8 to 10 minutes. So they're way shorter than this video. But I'm like, all my videos have gotten longer lately. Maybe it's the Gemini stuff. I don't know. But sorry about that. But I'll just look at an insight degree really quickly and then we'll pull your card here. What do we have? The new moon's at 16 degrees. Here, I believe the degree before, of, and after can all be relevant because the planets are in motion here, but I think the ones I liked are 15 and 16 the best. 17 didn't really resonate with me, but you can read it if you want. It's up on the screen. So let's look at 15. It says there is a universal source spring of renewed life forces and reawakened expanded awareness, which is on tap for those who venture there. Most characteristic of this vast realm is common ground, free access, and broad representation. You are everybody at once converging towards sisterhood and brotherhood. The sudden, drastic, and astounding universal light stream toward the future, being there just like that. Serendipity and chance, fortune and synchronicity. The 100th monkey comes to town. Oh, that's funny. Well, I think that this describes a lot of what we're feeling, which is renewed life force, expanded awareness on tap, which means like always available whenever we want it, on tap. So I think that there's a lot of that going on, free access, more joy and community, serendipity and chance. I like it. I think that there is a better feeling starting to emerge now than we've had in years of like something good is going on. I'm feeling a lot better. So don't get me wrong. Something good is going on here. It's just, we got to learn how to work with it. Okay. And I think that's what the next sentence is trying to get at. It says, the only thing asked is to make way, to cast off the outer covering of separative identity and to open the path and let it flow. However, this is so easy and natural, you can pass it right by and miss the chance. It takes an urgent call and a trick of destiny to reveal that as close as can be, open doors to the infinite are waiting for those who can drop the disguise and come to the party as they truly are. Okay, I think what stands out to me about those sentences is where it says to open the path and let it flow. Okay, the only thing asked is to open the path and let it flow. Okay, I think that in some ways is meant to parallel with some things that I've said in the video, because opening the path and let it flow doesn't mean taking on lots of work. It doesn't mean taking on big commitments. It doesn't mean doing a lot of things. It just means literally like, I'm just going to sit back and like, let what happens, happens, you know? And so that's the vibe. The vibe is not new projects, do more people, more commitments, more things. It's like, I'm just going to chill and sit back and like observe and just see what's going on. You know, I think that's the best posture, but it could feel, right? You see, it's so easy and so natural that it feels wrong. It feels wrong to just sit and chill and gather facts and information, whatever, when really I think it's the better way to go. Okay, the next degree reads, the sun shines so bright that it compels all of us to empty ourselves out and bake in the light and the warmth of spirit. We are transfixed by solar power and impelled to unite with our destiny, no matter how extravagant or unlikely. A momentum is pulsating. In order to do so, you have to breathe into it and let go a whole lot. And then there you are calling onward. You can hear it. Everyone else can too. And so the spirit caller cracks through and brings futures alive in the light of a sun that never sets. Okay. I also think this degree is similar to 15 and to some things that I've mentioned in this video about the sun shining brightly, warmth. Solar power. There's something about passion, excitement starting to ignite within us that I don't think we've had for a while, that I think I've said and these 2 degrees have said. Okay, not only that, but this degree also mentions there about how to handle it. And it says letting go of a whole lot. In order to handle it, you have to breathe into it and let go a whole lot. Okay, and again, what is, right? And it's similar to what the earlier degree said, which was you have to open the path and let it flow. Open the path, let it flow, and let go a whole lot. And again, what is that not? Because sometimes it helps to determine what something is by what it is not. Letting go a whole lot is not doing a whole lot, is not bringing on a whole lot more, is not committing to a whole lot. It's just, I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to be open to whatever comes and let it go and not take on a lot, not get on a lot of commitments, not do a lot of things, just gonna see, just wait and see. Just wait and see and gather information, even if that takes many months to do. Here, that's what's going on, because that's what Gemini is about. Gathering information, not acting on the information, not making sense of the information, just letting it come in and talking about it, okay, and enjoying the process. And I think that's it. Because that's it, I'm now going to here pull your card. So let's do that. Okay, I just saw one I liked. Hope it's a good one. What do we have here? Oh, we've got the 4 of Swords upright. Interesting, because this is also a card of resting or of taking it easy, and of not doing a whole lot. Here, that's going on. So I think that that's the advice. And I don't mean resting like I meant it, you know, the past few months, because I've said that word a lot the past few months. I think I mean resting now more as taking it easy and like playing and like just loosening up a little bit. You know, I think that's more what I mean. I think the past few months, if you watch my horoscopes, for some of you, I literally meant like sleeping and like being on the couch. And now with the 4, I'm not getting a vibe of like sleeping and being on the couch. We've got too many ideas. We're too excited about all of this, but I'm getting a sense of like, just like having a little bit of fun, you know, and like letting loose a little bit and, you know, going out a little bit more around town. Here, I think I'm getting a little bit more of that here. Now, again, not taking on commitments, not making big decisions, not taking on work, but just like flexible, nimble, you know, with the Gemini here, and, you know, taking it easy, being more flexible, having a little bit more fun with your situation. Okay, I feel like there's another word that would communicate that better, but I don't have it at the moment. And we've got the Lovers reversed at the bottom of the deck, which is interesting because some people do consider that a Gemini card. You know, Jupiter doesn't like to be in Gemini. You know, and I actually see the Lovers as a card of decisions, and it's reversed. Yeah, I'm just getting like, no decisions. Wait on it. You know, because we're not quite sure what's a good fit for our values. To me, the Lovers is also about values. What's a good fit? So, you know, don't make any big life-altering permanent decisions at this time. Just chill with what you already got and hang there and just like have fun, a little fun with that, and like enjoy it a little bit here. Okay. So that you can learn more about yourself and what is important to you in this different space, because I'm not sure if we know that yet. I might also too be a little careful about relationships as well. You know, the Lovers can be a little bit of a relationship card. Obviously, the name of it has the connotation. So I might be a little careful with relationships too. If some of you all meet someone new after this point, right? If you met someone new a month ago, I might be a little more accepting of it. But if some of you all meet someone new romantically this summer after this point, you know, I might not rush into it, is my thought here. Not rush into that. I would give that a little more time to kind of play out here until Jupiter enters Cancer a year from now, you know, and be a little more, you know, a little more open to exploring things here before making a decision on that. So, because the whole point is that if we take on something new right now, we may not know what's best for us because we haven't fully adapted and adjusted to this new space, right? Are you understanding here what's going on? We need more time to understand our situation before doing new things, which includes relationships. So I think that's the other thought there. Just work with what you have. Chill. Don't stress yourself out. Don't take on a lot. Take it easy. Have fun with your current experience. Don't make any huge decisions here, especially not when it comes to relationships or commitments that you can't keep here to a lot of things. Okay. And I think that's it. I think that's all I'm going to say. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, maybe I should add that. If you all are curious, what for me may I not be thinking clearly on, you can always book a reading with me. I'm now available for readings if you would like here, and we can talk about what part of your chart may be affected or what part of your life here and how best to handle that for your particular situation. So if you want to do that, you can go ahead and you can book a reading with me at etherealastrology.com/reading. So thank you so much. I wish you all the best here. I hope you have a good new moon, and I'll talk to you on the next video.